The Black Ops 2 situation is kind of crazy. From like every standpoint that you have of the game's port, there's something crazy to consider about it. Today we're running down the recent developments, updates, and information that you kind of have to do a double take to see if you're really in 2026 or if we're in some sort of time loop somehow back in that span of 2012 when the game launched to anywhere between like 2016 and 2017-ish. Drop your thoughts down below, drop a like if you enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe for more COD port coverage, and be on the lookout. We've been live about every other day here on the channel that I'd love to chat with you if you can catch us live. Finally, check out my friends over at Advanced GG where code Espresso can get 10% off your entire order, but more on that a little later. For now, let's get into it. So, running down a few things here, we're kind of covering the last couple of days of news and coverage for the ports, but the ports have been wildly successful, right? Like, I think that's kind of a no-brainer here with this. It was something that, for better or for worse, reselling these games once again for the price tags that they're at has produced a massive influx of players on these titles. It was reported to be the #1 most played game in the US for the week ending of July 18th, topping things like Fortnite, Roblox, NBA 2K, other games like that. So like, we just, I think, have to take a second to understand the absurdity of that. The biggest games in the world were being dwarfed on PlayStation by Black Ops 2. Now, as a Black Ops 2 enthusiast, as somebody that has proclaimed this to be their favorite COD game for every single year since that point, yeah, I can understand why. I love this game, and surely so many other people do too, but that's still, in the big 2026, crazy to think about. Also, with that considered, it wasn't something that just died immediately. Now, do I think that there's the lifespan to keep this game rolling for the next year, 2 years, whatever the case, that it's going to keep a big head of steam? Maybe not nearly as much as we have right now, but I think it will settle down to, of course, finding its niche audience once again. But being that it's on current hardware, it's probably going to be something that is still well above where it was on the PlayStation 3 days, and where players were still trying to go back to their old consoles and play on the old servers here at this. But it's definitely something that I think has outlived that, oh, it's just the initial hype. And speaking of numbers, it was also reported to have sold over 7 million units combined between Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1's ports, with that decision apparently made by Activision's strategy and finance team. Now that kind of made sense as is, because it was reported that the active weekly players the week after launch saw 5.25 million players on Black Ops 2 and 1.96 million players on Black Ops, just on the PlayStation platforms. So those numbers make sense when you consider the over 7 million units sold. But what I think is the really thing to point out is where that call came from. Activision's strategy and finance team, the official teams in charge of making the moves to make the company money, have now tapped the money printer in the classic COD games. And if it made them that much on a simple port, nothing outside of new features, minus that emblem hiding toggle that you have, nothing additional in terms of updates or contents or anything like that. It was truly just in terms of developing a game, coming from someone that does not have game development experience, likely a low overhead project. Like, that likely isn't something that took the whole weight of the Call of Duty brand to produce. Just based off quick little Google search here, no idea how accurate it is or anything, but just to kind of give a rough estimation, it's mentioned that Iron Galaxy has anywhere from 200 to 300 employees, and likely working on multiple different projects. So this wasn't something that, again, utilized the entire workforce of everything behind Call of Duty. That I think it's only a matter of time before other games get either ported and sold again, or perhaps even the remaster treatment. Like, that could leave the conversation open to how things like Modern Warfare Remastered were handled, where that reignited further content systems and offerings through additional cosmetic unlocks and grinds. If something that simple could produce as much basically free profit for the company, why would they not do that again? With this boom on one isolated platform, I don't personally see this being the end of the port or remaster treatment, for better or for worse. Like, I'm not sure which way that could go. On one hand, you're milking the cow dry by potentially reselling over and over and over again across the library of COD titles, but with games like Black Ops 2 and Black Ops, even the classics of Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, as many suspect that might be the next one up on deck. Personally, I think that's the logical next step here for that. I mean, those games were genuinely special. It's not just nostalgia in those cases. So I think where you fall on the side of the argument is probably entirely subjective on if you think it's good or bad to pay a sort of likely convenience fee in air quotes to play these on current hardware by being sold the same thing once again. I think that's all subjective, but I don't think this is the end of that. I also wouldn't expect to see anything in terms of a further port for a while, at least a year, 2 years out at that point, because if it happens, it'll probably be greenlit here within the next couple of weeks at the earliest, based off the data from the sales and player counts for the ports, and then They have to develop it, then they have to go through all... Yeah, the whole thing is just a red tape nightmare from a logistical standpoint that as a consumer, if you're like, well, I'd love to play Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 Classic, again, it's still likely a ways off. But here's the thing. Massive commercial success, right? Like, we can't deny that at all, but coming back to the time loop thing, like, is it 2026 on new servers with the air quote protections of what we thought for like current gaming hardware, firmware, security measures, and all that kind of stuff? Or are we right back in the drop support era where Call of Duty stopped caring about the upkeep of Black Ops 2 and modders are running rampant? Because for some people, Black Ops 2 in particular has become completely unplayable right now. It's not just one person out there, though one has absolutely been making the rounds by the name of C Isn't Sharp that's been terrorizing lobbies. You've probably seen clips on social media of people even just joining lobbies. Like, they don't have to be in the game, they can just be in that pre-game lobby and all of their stuff will end up going upwards of what is dubbed 11th Prestige on Black Ops 2 and 16th Prestige on Black Ops 1. Yes, there's only 10 Prestiges and Prestige Master on Black Ops 2 and 15 Prestiges on Black Ops 1, but it takes you to that Prestige above, which something way back in the day was like 11th Prestige, 16th Prestige, where it was previously a placeholder checkered icon that people would end up having that was a modded rank, something you could not ever normally obtain, but it was something that was the mark of, oh, this account's been modded. So that's been happening where every single person in that lobby ends up getting everything maxed out, other than weapons, surprisingly. Like, it doesn't affect the weapon XP for some reason, but it mods all of their stats and in some cases bricks the gameplay for a lot of people where they cannot access multiplayer. So huge problem to deal with, right? So far, this has been ongoing for a little bit of time, which again is crazy to consider in the big 26 that this stuff is still happening. And it's something that, of course, ruins people's gameplay experience, that has that you paid for this, but you can't play it sort of outcome to it. Iron Galaxy, I wouldn't say is asleep at the wheel. I'm sure that they know about this. I'm sure a fix is hopefully coming, but I mean, this has become unplayable for so many people. It's one thing if a modder is destroying the playing experience for a few hundred people in a total of a few thousand active players on a game that's 10 plus years old, and that Activision doesn't care about, still loser behavior. But another thing when it's the most played and most sold game in the month of July on PlayStation, and the current cash cow that could impact revenues for the company. For that reason alone, I'd imagine that something has to happen. Not to what extent, how they fix that, who knows? Like, obviously, we're not going to see them add in an anti-cheat overhaul where they bring Ricochet back in and start banning people immediately for this kind of stuff, but security measures do need to be taken. I don't know what, I don't know how. Again, I'm just some idiot with a microphone on the internet that doesn't have any programming experience in this field, but logically speaking, something's got to give. I am fascinated how this happens, though. Like, I've seen some people mention that it has to be like a PlayStation dev kit in the hands of a general consumer for this kind of stuff to happen on the current PlayStation 4 and 5 systems and firmware. Perhaps that is the case, but it's just kind of fascinating that this has happened when one of the core talking points about doing this port was that it wasn't going to be on PlayStation 3 servers, which is where all that stuff was happening, so you wouldn't be subjected to that. But now, having it happen on these servers a decade plus later, beyond at this point, I don't know, it's possible that a fix could be on the way, or COD God's willing, perhaps even live as of the point of this video going up, but a new update for the ports has been added to the back end of the PlayStation databases in the last 24 hours. Black Ops 2, it could be something for these potentially security measures and fixes, hopefully for the Black Ops port as well, but also including things for like fixes for the snipers, the party system, where players would end up on different teams, making it relatively unplayable for those who want to play with friends, something like that, but we don't know at the moment. I guess we'll see, but again, as we said in the beginning, the Black Ops 2 and Black Ops situation is kind of crazy on whatever way you want to look at it. So that's where we're going to wrap it up. But before we do, a quick heads up, we've partnered with our friends over at Advanced GG. A bit under the radar here the last few months, but we're ramping things up now, going into a crazy busy fall with multiple large game updates for games like Arc Raiders and future seasons of Battlefield 6, new launches in Modern Warfare 4 and GTA 6, and everything in between. Advanced is the healthier energy supplement option. I use it as my daily comparable cup of coffee, currently drinking the Raspberry Lemonade and Magic Rainbow Sherbet as two of my personal favorite flavors that I'd highly recommend. And on that note, we've actually co-branded the Rainbow Sherbet along with with a few other items on their site, like a 26-ounce ice shaker cup. But for real, I love this stuff, and if you're looking for a replacement for your own cups of coffee, give this a try, check it out, or grab a restock here before the craziness of all the games and updates coming later this fall. And if you decide to, Code Espresso can get 10% off your entire order, but no pressure at all. I just appreciate you checking it out, and of course, checking out the video. But anyways, now that's where we're gonna wrap it up, so love to get your thoughts and feedback down below. What do you think of all that's happening within the Black Ops ports at the moment? Have you been playing? Have you been having fun? Have you noticed any of these issues that we're having with a bunch of modders? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things COD Black Ops ports, more FPS content, and more. I'd love to have in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.